What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, March 23rd, 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Daniel Bloodworth from Easy Allies.
Hey, man.
How are you?
Doing good.
Thank you for coming through. Very exciting. We're slowly getting each one of you Easy Allies kids in here.
Yeah.
One by one, picking up. Because for a long time, Brandon Jones, he just said, I'm the only one you need. I'm really important. And we're like, I guess he's really important. And then we found out, no, he's not. There's a lot of you guys over there that do awesome stuff. How you doing, man?
Doing good.
Came up for GDC.
Yeah, came up for GDC. We weren't officially coming, but I was like, I'm just going to come anyway. So
That's a smart way to do it. What have you seen? What has been impressive here at GDC? Has it been worth the trip?
It's always worth the trip for me, but it's always, I think, the funny thing is I don't think I grasped the value of GDC for myself.
Oh, interesting.
Until after I was out of a job at Game Trailers. It was like I had that period where like I didn't know what Easy Allies was going to be. We were about to announce it, but it's going to be an after work thing or what. And then, but it was like, I could probably go to GDC and like, I email my press contacts and like, yeah, come up. We'll put an independent freelancer or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's kind of like just a big family reunion. It's just so cozy with the industry. And so it's like, I schedule myself to see some games and I've seen some cool games, but like a lot of it, it's just like, I'm going to go to some sessions too. I'm going to just walk back and forth around the halls and see who says hi to me and all of that. Yeah.
No, that's what works out so well about GDC is it's got such a different pace and it has none of the pomp and circumstance of E3, where at E3 it's like, let's get a booth and let's be really loud and let's have neon colors, and there's so much, not that it's bad, but so much marketing and so many outside influences on what a game is, whereas GDC is, we're the entire art team on this indie game you played, or we're half the team from this AAA game that's coming out soon, and we're just here to give a presentation, learn from each other, catch up with friends. That's why it works.
Yeah.
How many GDCs have you gone to, I guess?
I think the weird thing about that question is I have no idea what the answer is.
Yeah.
Because I've came up several times with game trailers.
Yeah.
But so many times that I came up with game trailers, it was just the opposite of what we were talking about. It's like I go to a bunch of hotel rooms off-site and like my days were packed of seeing games.
Back-to-back appointments. Yeah.
Not even actually going to the show floor many of those years. So I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a blur, right?
Yeah.
But what I like a lot about GDC is that it's not for us. In so many ways, like, you know what I mean? Of like, I stopped going to panels for the most part when we're still at IGN, because eventually we got over the idea that, hey, go to this, the Gorilla's doing a panel. Go there and hopefully they'll leak something about their next game in this giant speech about how choices mattered and kills, or like how this begat that, and how if you open this door, that game knew to then, like, no, that's way too top level. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I was in a fascinating talk about audio design in Horizon yesterday. Yeah. And just talking about how, they basically like had these boxes around different body parts and like just all this hierarchy of things, and how she, because the animations were complex and there's so many different creatures and things, that like she basically created scripts to know when the sound cues would start based on like she averaged together the animations, and then there was a big change in the animations. That's what cued the sound.
Gotcha.
And then they said the design team requested a beep for like when like some a warning for when something was about to attack, and she played the raw audio file of her getting one of her colleagues to just make a like annoying beep sound, and then she had like distorted that for all the different creatures. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Bloodworth, I assume most people know Easy Allies if they're watching any kind of funny content.
I would hope so. Yeah.
But if they're not, well, like if they don't know Easy Allies, how do you do the elevator pitch for someone who's never seen or heard of you?
The elevator pitch. I don't know that we've like dialed that in. It's like it's we're
it's the same way. We always like we're a podcast troupe of people.
Yeah, we talk about video games and produce videos about video games. We do video reviews, which we actually put a lot of thought and effort into the not just the writing, but like how it's edited to make sure that like when we're talking about something, we're showing you. If we're talking about a glitch, like they got glitches on capture and you're going to see it right now for the most part, and just getting all that nailed down. And then we have several podcasts, and then one thing that we've had a little bit more freedom with Easy Allies than game trailers is that we do some weird stuff outside of gaming. We have not only a tabletop show, but there's like a movie podcast, and we do strange streams now and then, where like I put Kyle Bossman on trial for not going to the terms of a bet that he made, and it's just like this weird stuff.
That's awesome.
But yeah, just having fun with the audience as well as covering games.
2 questions for you before we jump into the show then, so people have an understanding of who you are. Your favorite game of all time, and what are you playing right now?
Favorite game of all time, I've decided to just tell people Super Metroid. I definitely have a hard time picking favorites of anything. Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely love the exploration and the atmosphere of that game. And right now, I'm sort of in the middle of Chapter 3 on Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
You enjoying it?
Yeah, definitely.
I was a big fan of Life is Strange Before the Storm. I kept saying it. When I was playing it episode by episode, it has no business being this good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have the superpower. It's about Chloe, who it wasn't the main character of the first game, and I was like, okay, it's Deck 9 instead of Don't Nod. Like, it's not the original voice cast. I was like, on paper, you look at this thing, you're like, oof, this is not going to go well. And then the Dungeons and Dragons part of episode 1, I was like, I'm in love.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they do such a good job of subverting your expectations in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Exactly. I'll be interested when you finish it to talk about it. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about and jump into your questions, comments, concerns, bad PSN names, and everything else under the video game sun you submit to kindafunny.com/KFGD. If you like that, watch the show. It's on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We record it live. If you're watching us live, of course, thank you. Remember, you need to go to kindafunny.com/you'rewrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames or listening on podcast services around the globe, including Spotify. Housekeeping. Of course, support Easy Allies on Patreon. And then, of course, we're sponsored by Brooklyn and Hims, but I'll talk to you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. There's one item on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen!
I wouldn't have even done it, Kevin.
I wanted to try to motivate people.
Such a slow news day. You know, such a slow news day. And it's like, I was grasping at straws. We have a lot of good reader questions, so we'll be fine. Of course, you're here. You're a guest. You're going to be great. There's a reason to keep watching. But I was like, oof, there's nothing happening. Nothing really happening.
Yeah, I mean, for the past couple of weeks, especially with GDC appointments, I've been like opening up my inbox like 50 emails in the morning. And like today is like, what? Okay.
Yeah, everybody's dead. Everyone's done and tired of it. And I think, GDC being here obviously takes a hit on the news cycle on people doing things. I think today the Far Cry 5 streaming embargo lifted, so everybody's doing that. Sea of Thieves, of course, is still getting a lot of coverage out there. But in terms of news, I'll give you what I got, and that comes from Kotaku. EA created an AI that taught itself to play Battlefield 1. Electronics Arts Search for Extraordinary Experiences, Seed Division, which I guess they should have put the seed after the division, but I digress. Which sounds like an anime Space Force, has created a self-learning AI agent that has managed to teach itself how to play Battlefield 1 multiplayer. It went on to talk about it for a while, and then they tried to find out if that is, they could make an agent or a self-learning AI play something a little more intense than what previous examples included. The results are an agent that, while inferior to human players, is pretty proficient at the basic Battlefield gameplay. The agent changes behavior if it's low on health or ammo, and while more complex behaviors like knowing the details of each map are beyond it at the moment, EA has found that while the human players outperformed the agents, it wasn't a complete blow-up by any stretch.
Wow.
Now, this is one of those that I read and I was like, all right, I don't know. Is it Roper Report worthy? Is it worth this here of like, okay, EA made this bot that isn't as good as humans, which is interesting. I would think the bot would learn real quick and get way better than us, but
yeah, that's what I think. Like, you don't have a hand cramp and like, mess with the mouse the wrong way.
It's just like every time it kills it or it gets killed, it's not like that again. I know how to dodge that, how to fix that. However, Nathan C. came out of left field. Let left field be, of course, kindafunny.com/KFGD, and had a question that I think is actually really interesting. Nathan C. says, "What's good, Greg and Daniel? With EA's Search for Extraordinary Experiences Division, or SEED for short, teaming up with DICE to find a way to train self-learning AI enemies, how do you think this could impact gaming as a whole if that technology was spread across the industry? Would you prefer being able to jump into any game without choosing a difficulty at the beginning and have the enemy AI learn and react based on how skilled you are at the game? Or do you like having the choice to put up front for how hard or easy a game should be? Thanks for all you guys do, and have a fantastic Friday. Your friend Nathan."
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always been the difficulty with enemy AI, right? It's like, yeah, you can make it really good, but is that necessarily fun, right?
Right.
Like, especially when you get to something like a stealth game, like it's all about these weird little tells and vision cones and stuff like that. It's like, if that was a real person, like, no way, you would just be dead every time. Right?
My example is Far Cry. I started playing it on Monday. Everybody streaming right now is further than me. I think I played an hour and a half, and then GDC came and rocked my world. But there's a part in it where I was trying to save these 2 people that had been captured by the cult, and so there's 3 dudes outside that have guns, and like the guys are all lined up. So I snuck into like the ranger station or whatever this little shop is, got behind the cash register counter and threw a rock at the wall. And so then a guy comes in, and I leap over the counter and I grab him and I pull him down stealth in it. And then I throw a rock again. Another guy comes in, same animation, and another guy, same animation. And it's like, it's fun, it's fine, it's Far Cry, that's what it should be. But if the AI, right, is it fun if the AI is like, wait, well, Tim just walked in there and never came out. Right. Like, how do we do that?
That's kind of the one of the ultimate problems with stealth games is that people don't seem to notice that they're the only ones left.
Yeah. No one's ever sitting there going like, wait, something's really wrong with all this stuff. Yeah, and so that, I think what it would be cool, what Nathan's talking about, and how to use this technology in a way other than just, it's playing, Battlefield. I think it'd be awesome, to have that be a difficulty option. You know what I mean? To have an enemy that does learn, and like, if it was that on the radio, even if you're playing the new Metal Gear or whatever, and you're always using the box, right? And it's, hey, I saw him in a box. Never look for every box you see and shoot stuff out like that. But that's happening naturally rather than a canned, hey, this is going to happen if you overuse something. That could be fun. That could be cool. But you do run into this thing of like, well, how much fun is that going to be to constantly get thwarted by this AI? I don't want it. That's so there's your answer. And that's it for the Roper Report. That's record speed, Kevin. You're happy with that? Yeah? Okay, cool. Now, what I like to do is give no one any prep for this show. Okay. You might have noticed. I worked over there. I handed
me a big stack of paper right before I sat down.
And you know exactly what it's going to be. So what's going to happen is I'm about to make a really bad transition, and when I'm going to say, where would I go? And you read everything highlighted there, okay?
Okay.
So here we go. I'll tell you what, Kevin. I think it'd be awesome if we had AI things that learn and there was a new difficulty, but having that kind of technology is so far away. Daniel, if I wanted to know what came to the digital mom and grop shops today, where would I go?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Finish strong, Kevin. We're exhausted. It's been a GDC week, but I'm happy you're there for me. Out today, you can get tickets to the International Dota 2 tournament. They'll become available tonight. A Way Out is on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
Yeah.
Have you played yet?
I haven't yet.
Yeah.
The code came in last week or something, but yeah, our review's up.
Yeah, I can't wait to play it. It's just been way too...
Brad and Huber played through it together.
Yeah, they love it?
They enjoyed it.
Yeah, good. Kevin, I swear to God, if you keep putting windows up behind me. All right? Finish strong, I said. Don't finish sloppy. Well, you're not trying hard enough. Castle of Heart comes to Switch. Detective Pikachu's on 3DS. Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom is finally out on PlayStation 4 and PC. Pix Arc is on Xbox One. Portal Knights is on Switch. Velocity 2X Critical Mass Edition is on PlayStation 4 and PS Vita. Of course, Velocity 2X, a great game, get that. Western Press is on Xbox One. And then GameSpot reports, following its announced partnership with NVIDIA back in December, Nintendo has released its first title for the NVIDIA Shield. Mario's masterful Wii adventure Super Mario Galaxy has now launched for the set-top console. But like all Nintendo's other planned games for the Shield, it's only available in China.
I had no idea that was happening.
Yeah, it was a weird thing they put out there, and it's like, wait, why? Wait, what? No, put it all on Switch. Where's the virtual console? What are you doing? New dates for you. There's going to be Sea of Thieves maintenance tomorrow, Saturday, 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. They're saying Pacific time.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, that's the problem with this always online game, right? Especially on launch week, especially with all the problems they've had so far. Ovivo comes to iOS on March 28th. The Adventure Pals are coming to PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch on April 3rd. Pixel Junk Monsters 2, the sequel to Q Games' 2008 tower defense game, is coming May 25th to PlayStation 4, Steam, and Switch. And then I missed this one. I think I saw it yesterday, but maybe I saw it after we ended the show. I'm not sure. Zone of Enders, The Second Runner, is coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation VR, and Windows PC via Steam. Except for the PlayStation thing. That doesn't make sense. I don't know who I stole this from. They weren't paying attention. In September 2018. You when I said the Pixel Junk Monsters there, you went, you a fan?
Well, Well, I'm a fan of Pixel Junk. I think Monsters is one of the ones I didn't play because it was earlier. But
yeah.
But I wasn't aware that it existed. So
I believe this is. I think we've talked about it before, but I tossed it in there because I saw Kotaku put up a piece today that they played it here at GDC, and it looks beautiful, and that was their main thrust of it. It's like the game was pretty before, but this sequel is using a different camera perspective. It seems and has way more detail. Looks really nice. I loved Pixel Junk. Deals of the day for you. Trent in parentheses writes in and says, "Hey, kind of funny Games Daily crew. Not a question, but a deal for you. Target currently has 15% off the black PlayStation 4 Pro and that hideous Battlefront 2 edition via Cartwheel, their app deal thingy. It's valid through March 31st. Update 5.50 bricked my old PS4, so I was happy to save where I could. Thanks for all you do, Trent." No, Trent. Thank you for writing in with the deal of the day. Like I said, slow news day. So we're going to lean hard on the reader mail here. But first, I need to tell you, reader mail is brought to you by Brooklinen and Hymns. Brooklinen.com makes sheets and comforters, and they're really, really nice. How do I know, Kevin? Ask me how I know, Kevin.
How do you know?
Because I sleep on them, and I take photos of my dog on those sheets, too. It's real comfortable sheets, and they're real pretty. And like I keep saying on the show, and I've said all week, and I'm sorry, I know you've heard the story, is that when you go to the site, Mr. Bloodworth, it's super easy to go through and pick and choose. And you say you want to see this color, you click on that color, it puts it on the sheet right away. And so you can mix and match everything.
Nice.
Make it look real good. I was able to figure out a navy blue polka dot scheme that my wife was impressed she didn't need to help me with. Because usually that's the kind of things I would need help for. But on top of that, they're cheap. No unnecessary markups and fees. Most bedding is marked up as much as 300%. You can mix and match to complement any decor. This is luxury bedding, underpriced. You have to try these sheets today. Brooklinen.com has an exclusive offer. Just an offer. There's no officer coming for you. Just for my listeners. You can get $20 off and free shipping when you use the promo code GamesDaily at brooklinen.com. Brooklinen is so confident that they offer a risk-free 60-night satisfaction guarantee and a lifetime warranty on all their sheets and comforters. The only way to get $20 off and free shipping is to use the promo code GamesDaily at brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com, promo code GamesDaily. Then the best tagline I think I've ever heard, Brooklinen, these are the best sheets ever. They're not pulling punches.
Right.
They're like, fuck these other sheets. We're the best. All right, I respect it. We're also brought to you by Hims. Did you know 66% of men lose their hair by age 35? The thing is, when you start to notice hair loss, it might be too late. That's why Hims is here to save you. They are a brand of all sorts of stuff. It's a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness, all for men. Nick and Andy are using it right now for their hair treatment stuff. Of course, you've known Nick as long as I have, kind of, and he's always worried about his hair and his hairline and all these different things. Not so worried about the shingles. That snuck up on him, but I digress. He uses the app. He takes photos of his hair, he sends it into them, they recommend stuff, and if he needs to talk to the doctor, they hook him up with a doctor, and then they send him all the product here. Of course, the helpful thing is that it's generic stuff, equivalents to the name brands to help you keep your hair. These are no snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements, prescription solutions backed by science. No more waiting rooms, no more doctor visits. My listeners can get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today, right now, while supplies last. See the website for full details. This would cost hundreds if you went to a doctor or a pharmacy. Go to forhims.com/gamesdaily. That's forhims.com/gamesdaily. forhims.com/gamesdaily. And see, they're less in your face with a tagline. They just don't have one. They're just like, you know what? We gave you what the slew of products we are. You like it? Take it. And if you don't,
science.
Don't. Get out of here. Where do I want to start with you, Mr. Bloodworth? Where do I want to start with you? Here we go. We're going to start with LangIAm, who says, "What's good, Greg and Daniel? Ni no Kuni 2 dropped today and it's getting positive reviews, with a lot of outlets highlighting the lack of a need to grind in order to progress. This leads to an average 30-hour playthrough. What are your thoughts on shorter length RPGs? Do you think you can create an engaging story in such a short amount of time? Greg, I know you struggled with Persona 5. Is the length the issue?" I think the length is a huge issue for me with Persona 5.
Yeah.
And I think on it, with all due respect to Persona 5 and Persona 4, which I loved, obviously, and I played a ton out of, and Persona 3. I think you're talking about, do you think you can create an engaging story in such a short amount of time? 30 hours is not a short amount of time. And I would offer to guess that I think the story is more engaging. Persona, part of the reason Persona works so well for me and against me now with 5 is the fact that you do get so much mundane detail.
Right.
And that does then make you get lulled into a sense of just being a student and how that is, lulled in the sense of it. And then when something gets crazy, it spikes and then it comes back down and does all that. I think think of all the when I think of great video game stories and things I've been locked in, I'm more inclined to go to something that's 10, 12, somewhere in their hours long.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think back like Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, like those games were all around that 30-hour mark.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's a great example. Yeah,
yeah. So you can absolutely do it, and that really is main story. Damiani, who's the one that did the review for us for Ni no Kuni 2.
Yeah.
Like he tweeted out later, it's like, I'm still playing the game. I'm like 80 hours into the game now.
Yeah.
And so it's, 30 hours is just kind of baseline to get the gist of it.
And that's where you always get into like dev math. And when people are trying to boil it down, like how long you're going to spend in the game, I don't know. Like, what do you count how long you spend in a game? Is it, that you main storyline it and you just did the main quest and got it done? Or is it that you 100%ed it? Or is it something to that effect? I'm glad to see more people explore that 30-hour range or shorter, in quotes, RPGs in general, because I think that's what turns a lot of people off of trying to sit there and be like, well, I mean, Persona, right? That was my problem of, cool, I've put 25 hours into this, and it is awesome, and it is by far, I think, the best Persona in terms of presentation. These characters are great, all these different things. I don't have another 75 right now that I want to give this. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff to play last year to get around and do it.
Yeah, I kind of have the same issue with Divinity. I've heard such great things about it, but I just finished Persona, so like I kind of want to like get some smaller stuff in.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now.
You want to roll credits on a few other things and get those experiences that are more bite size, or just what's speaking to you on that level. And so I don't see it as a downside. LangIAm. I think that 30 hours is good, and I hope it works out, because that was for Ni no Kuni the original. It was a game that was super critically acclaimed and people loved, but it had that stigma of, okay, well, it's a JRPG, so it's going to be going on forever. I don't have that time. I don't want to play it. I just know it's good. So I think with this one, they have to try. They have to try to get a more mainstream audience.
Yeah, and you talk about like developers trying to like tell people how long their game is. One thing that I always I hate when there's a Q&A is when somebody asks the developer like, well, how big is the map? Yeah. Like, how do you quantify? Like, if they told you, but in square miles, would you know what that means?
And even when they say, like, I mean, like, it's just such a weird question. Yeah, like even for like a GTA, they'll be like, you can fit all the previous GTA maps into this map for what we did to 5. And you're like, wow, that's cool. That's good, right? I remember when you're playing the PS2 version of Vice City, you're like, this map's huge. Right. You're not thinking about it now.
Or like Deus Ex Mankind Divided, like walking around that map, it's not that big.
Yeah.
But like every building has so many little passages and crazy underground and stuff like that.
I hate asking those kind of questions, but it's all because I know I ask too. Like, I know you hate this question, but how long is the game? Like, I mean, like when you talk to a dev, it's always interesting to see what they determine that as, right?
Right.
And we had Corey Barlog came by and recorded a Gamescast segment with me last night. It'll go live. Not in the episode that's live now on Patreon, but the episode will be live next Friday on Patreon. And it was that same thing of like, so 30, 35. He's like, yeah, that's what we say the story is, right? But he's like, there's a guy at work right now who went through and 100% and did everything, and it took him, I think he said 45 hours. But he's like, keep in mind that he knew where everything was, and it still took him that long. You're like, it's a good point.
And that's the thing. Like with me, I go super slow, so I've caught myself in these issues where I've said a game is 12 hours long, and people are like, I beat that game in 6. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, fuck you. You know what I mean? And that's the problem too. Yeah, when people throw it in your face of like, oh, you said gone home, what took you this? And I'm like, well, yeah, but I went drawer by drawer, intricately looking into things and trying to figure out like what Easter eggs this was or how this went that way.
Yeah, and we were talking about Life is Strange earlier, and it's like, there's times to just sit there and listen to music.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Just let it play, right? And even in the D&D thing where it was, I for episode 1 of Before the Storm, I was playing it with my wife next to me, and I was trying to get through it so I could come talk about it on Gamescast. And so it was like, this D&D thing is awesome. And she's like, yeah, play it again, dude. And I'm like, no, I can't do that right now. I actually have to move. And so when I left, she started her save and went through and like sat there and went down every nook and cranny in that D&D game, which obviously gave her more time. And the same thing, like you're talking about listening to music in that game or reading, because even you said you're partway through episode 3, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess this doesn't apply at all to that, but so I don't know why I brought that up. But I was thinking the last one, Farewell, right? In Farewell, there's a point where it's like, all right, cool, like go around Chloe's room and do this, and like you get enough, and eventually like, all right, I guess I should turn it into Chloe, but like you could also keep exploring and keep getting every little story about that.
Right.
Games are weird, man.
Yeah,
this is why it's so tough to talk about them or review them. Everybody has a different experience and gets something else out of it.
We get Bugs is the other bad one.
bugs
play
in the
through
game.
a game, you have no bugs, and then people like start going up in arms about how buggy the game
people
is.
don't understand how hard our life is. You know what I mean? We get to play these games ahead of time. We come back, we give something like, you know. I said did you play, or did anyone for you go to the God of War event?
Yeah, Ben went.
Okay. I said, you know, my big takeaway, no spoilers, is that the first big fight in the game is like the best comic book fight that's ever been done, best superhero fight that's ever been put to a video game. And I can't wait for the game to get out, people to play through that and be like, what the fuck, man? No, it's not. Like, what about this and what about that? And blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, again, okay, well, these are opinions I'm giving you, not like facts that can be backed up in a court of law.
Right.
Jerks.
You got time for them to forget, too.
I'm going to keep bringing it up because it's an awesome fight. I want people to know. Now, here's my question. Do you care about Call of Duty?
I've kind of stopped caring, even though like I still recognize that it does great things.
Oh, sure.
But I haven't played a Call of Duty in quite a while now.
Okay, did you see yesterday's / this week the whole Modern Warfare 2 remastered coming out? And then
no,
they put that out, that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. They didn't put it out. Somebody found it on a site. I think. I'm not gonna say because I don't want to be corrected on you're wrong. But somewhere they put out a site, and then it started leaking out of like, oh, it looks like it's just single player, no multiplayer, which people got up in arms about. Jason Schreier was on yesterday. We read that news, and me and Jason both went like, well, we're not Call of Duty. We're not really Call of Duty guys. That sucks for you, but we don't understand the importance. Lyndon, not Johnson, from Dallas, wrote in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD to explain it all to us. Dearest Greg, you are a sexy man, and this week has been a wonderful time to be a Kind of Funny Games Daily fan. The GDC coverage and guests have been wonderful. I want to circle back to basically the confirmed rumors on Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, not containing a multiplayer suite. I know that you and Jason both indicated that you had no particular interest around a Modern Warfare 2 Remaster, and I don't have much personal connection to the game, so I would like to provide some... I don't know. Perspective as someone who put hundreds of hours into the... Oh, I see. He's not... He put a comma there. He's saying, we didn't care about it. On to him. I'd like to put some personal perspective as someone who put hundreds of hours into the original Modern Warfare 2 on the 360. The long and short of it is that Modern Warfare 2 objectively contained the most balanced and fun multiplayer of any Call of Duty in the series' long run. The map, weapons, perks, and kill streaks all combined to make a near-flawless online multiplayer suite. Shipping a remaster with no multiplayer in this case is akin to how people would have felt if the Master Chief Collection had contained Halo 2 remastered with no multiplayer. Modern Warfare 2 is considered a high watermark in the series based on its PvP offering. Knowing this, what do you think the studio motivation was behind removing the best parts of this game when they know that fan love for the remaster was almost purely based around a desire to jump back into its multiplayer? Frankly, it feels like a huge gut punch in the worst possible way. It makes very little sense to me. Thanks for being awesome and keep doing what you do. Thank you, Lyndon, for explaining why people would be so upset other than multiplayer was great.
Right.
I still think the motivation would just be the fact that they didn't want to get into the technological hurdles of that, of going back and giving you a server and making sure it all works and troubleshooting this, that, and the other thing to make it go. Because it isn't as simple as, I'm sure, we're remastering it, so we're upgrading the visuals and doing all this different stuff, but it'll still use the same server structure, matchmaking it found back in the 360 PS3 days. Yeah.
It just feels kind of like a half-baked like marketing decision in a way.
It feels like a way to get some money. Feels like a way.
This worked for the first Modern Warfare. We want to do it again, and they're like, we don't think we can do that in time. Yeah.
Well, then we'll just put it out that way, and like people, will not be following this news that closely. Like if you see it in the store or on the cross-media bar, you buy it, and you don't think about that, and you jump in, and then you're just whatever.
Is this one still being held hostage to like only people that pre-order the new game?
No, it's still such a rumor thing right now. It doesn't sound like it because it was on a retail site that it popped on, so it wasn't connected to like, hey, you have to do this, but we'll see.
Because I think that's even weirder then, in a way. If they just sell the game.
Yeah, just the single player campaign remastered. Yeah. Who knows, man? It's Activision. They just want them. They're looking for some dollars. I understand. More retro games. Writes in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, Dear Kind of Funny Games, with the popularity of the Nintendo Switch, do you think it's doomed to be filled with shovelware titles like the Wii? Each week we get more and more eShop games and ports. P.S. If you could shout out my Instagram, that would be great. All right. It's more retro games on Instagram. I don't know what he's putting up, so if it's nudes or something, they don't know me.
The shovelware so far doesn't seem to be nearly as bad as some of the stuff that was on the Wii and the Wii U.
Right.
There's definitely some of it. I had a stream a month or two ago where like it was just called "What's on Bloodworth Switch" because I had all these codes because I manage all the code distribution and stuff for the allies, and so I had all these codes that like nobody had time for, nobody claimed, and so we have some group accounts that I put codes on, but for the Switch, like it doesn't work like that. So it's like I just put them all on my personal Switch, and eventually like I've got like a dozen games. I have no idea what these games are, so let's just do a stream. And it's funny because like a fair number of them were like the same concept but re-skinned. You know, it's like this is tennis, and now this is baseball. I knew you were gonna bring up
tennis,
but it's like
I got my tennis code and I popped in and I'm like, oh, it kind of looks like Hot Shots.
No, tennis in the face. I think the game is called, and then there's Baseball Riot, but they're basically the same game.
Okay. But it's like because there is just tennis.
Oh yeah.
And you put it in, and you're like, wow, you are a knockoff of Hot Shots, but you're not even remote. Like there's no. I think it's just a mobile game that got ported because there's no movement. You move automatically, and it's just about hitting the ball. I'm like, this is a weird thing to do.
But I think overall, like, I was talking to the Banner Saga guys yesterday about this. It's like right now, like independent developers are doing so great on the Switch, you know, and so many people are like pushing to get their games over. They're like sometimes like you don't even realize it's like, oh, that game's on the Switch now. I didn't know they put that out there. And I think it's I think the thing that really is working pretty well is that Nintendo's not doing a lot of this like strange wall between independent developers and bigger publishers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can see some priority in that, you know, when they send out their press release for the week or whatever, it's like, okay, here are like the 4 games that we're actually going to describe, and then here's like 1-sentence games.
And here's all these Atari or Neo Geo classics, right?
Right.
And you're like, okay,
but
arcade archives.
But at the same time, it's like, you know, big publisher games can be in that list down below. It's like they're not just you know, favoring based on the size of the corporation. They seem to be favoring based on what they find interesting.
To More Retro Games' question, for me, I think it's what do you take as shovelware? Wii's shovelware was such a holy shit, this thing's in everybody's house. Cobble together a stupid motion control whatever, and somebody will buy it out there. And like my mom, who like when I got her a Wii, she was great. You know, like, you know how you talk about the attach rate of Switches is insane, right? Like people buy games like crazy for this thing. That was the exact opposite with the Wii, where people bought it and had Wii Sports and like, I'm great. And then like I remember coming home for a visit, and my mom had a plane game down there. I'm like, what is this? And she's like, oh, well, you know, your stepdad, he wanted a plane game, so I went in there and asked, and there was 2, and I chose this one, and I put it in. I'm like, this is god awful. And it's like trying to play, you know, do the Wiimote thing and stuff.
Right, yeah.
And it was just like, that was the shovelware quality you were getting there. I don't know if, and we talk about this actually on the Gamescast. It's live right now on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames with Damon from Nintendo talking about Nindies and the problem with discoverability.
Oh yeah, I just missed him, huh? I got those tweets from him. He's always going to be on the same show.
Oh, sorry, no, you don't. I want to give you your time in the sun, Mr. Bloodworth. I can't have you sharing the spotlight. But we talk about the fact of discoverability and the fact there is 18 games coming to the Switch every week. But I'm still blown away that the message you're getting from independent developers on the Switch is, yep, we put it out just a couple weeks ago, and it's the best-selling version. It's sold more than every other version put together. And I think that speaks to the fact that people are willing to get on the Switch and see something they think's interesting, grab it, and then evangelize it in the way that I think the games I'm going to recommend to you on Switch are going to be so much different than the games you'll recommend on Switch, which will be so much different than the game Brian Altano's going to mention on Switch. And granted, Golf Story will probably cross over on all of them, and there'll be stuff like that, but...
And there have been, I think, a lot of games, you know, like the Banner Saga, where people have heard about it for so long.
Exactly.
But for some reason, like the Switch is just that X factor. It's like, well, I'll get it on the Switch because I can take it with me or whatever.
And see, that's my thing where I think, me personally, there's already so many more indie games that have been out other places that I'm playing on the Switch. And when I try to justify it, when I talk to people on podcasts or friends about it, it's the idea, I think, that it's not that I expect to have a lesser experience on the Switch. It's the fact that when I sit down at home for my PlayStation 4, I'm expecting to jump into Far Cry 5 or Monster Hunter World or soon God of War and have all, you know, experiences I can only get there. It's not me knocking the Switch because it's got multiple things on it. It's the fact that I don't feel the need to jump in and see Celeste blown up on my PlayStation 4 and on my 65-inch screen. Right. I'm fine to jump into Celeste and have it here, and I feel like that fits so well here and that feels so good. And if I do want to put it on the screen, I can plug it in and go with it. But for it to be a handheld for me, it is that, all right, cool, I'm on a plane, and there's 3 new games on this. Let's try them and see what I like and what I don't like and move on from there. I'm more willing to take risks, I guess, on my Switch than I am on my PlayStation. Because PlayStation already suffers from the exact same thing Switch is getting to of, let's jump on the store. Holy shit, there's a million things. I don't even know how to separate any of this. Unless it's really good or really bad, I don't know if I've heard of it.
And I think somebody once said that one of the issues with PlayStation Store and Steam Store and stuff is like a lot of times they list like all the DLC and stuff and like just small things.
Yeah, if you go to the new releases on PlayStation, it's sure games, but then it also is, here's all this add-on content. It's pre-orders for stuff. You're just like, ooh, like what games came out on Tuesday that I really need to play?
Yeah.
Quinn writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, hey, Greg and Daniel, do you think that Spider-Man is hurting itself by waiting so long to announce a release date / release the game? We like to do these pregnant pauses sometimes so that people listening at home, they have to stop and look at their iPhone and see if they screwed it up. We were previously told first half of 2017, and honestly, I'm starting to get a little frustrated. I saw the tweet from the other day. But honestly, I was just disappointed. But honestly, it just disappointed me rather than stoking my excitement. What tweet is he talking about?
When you were at Insomniac?
Oh, my thing where I was like, I'm going to get answers. Oh, okay. Do you think this will affect perception or sales of the game? Or do the majority of people not care until it's announced? Beyond, keep up that foul fornication, Quinn. It will not affect sales in the least.
No.
Not at all. I think, and I mean, for all of us to hang our hats on, we were previously told the first half of 2017. True. Sean Layden did say everything you saw with the date on it is coming in the first half of 2018. Yeah,
2017.
He says 2017. I think, but it's 2018 when was what he meant. Yeah, that's what he means. Don't bother. You're wronging Quinn. When all this stuff happened, he's like, if it says 2018, we mean the first half of 2018. There's still time for that to happen here. There, you know what I mean? Sure. Like it could still be a first half. And I think that they could play fast and loose, and anytime in June is still a first half. But I think as long as it comes in 2018, everybody's gonna be fine. And even if it did get delayed, God fucking don't let it get delayed. Got delayed till 2019. I think we'd all be in the same boat of, that sucks, but make it good. I think everybody just wants a great Spider-Man game.
Yeah, didn't Days Gone just get pushed to 2019? Didn't they say that?
Yeah, but Days Gone, that was one where I'd been trying to be like, guys, they never said 2018 for Days Gone. That never had that in the trailer, but everybody was so convinced, so banging their fists on the table that it was convinced that when they were like, no, 2019, everybody's like, wow, it's delayed. And I'm like, not really. Mm-hmm. I'm sure some bend person somewhere in an interview said, I don't know, maybe 2018, maybe this year. And that got there. But yeah, that got 20. I still think that's going to be, if they're smart and they can do it, first half, like January, February 2019, you put that out and try to catch that Dying Light, that Monster Hunter, that buzz of, hey, we're the first new game out, after the holidays, and you want new games, get in there and get it.
Yeah, for sure.
But Spider-Man, no, I don't think. You're starting to get a little frustrated, Quinn. Me more than anything, I'm just playing a character. I'm so excited about that game of where I put up fucking videos chanting to Shuhei in a dark room. Like that's just me fucking around. Like I want the game as fast as I can humanly get it, but I want it to be good and I want it to do justice and I want it to be the game I know it can be and probably will be with Insomniac getting to focus on something like that. Are you excited for Spider-Man?
I am. I think it is good in a way that they are holding off on showing things. Like I don't want to get sick of that game before it comes out. But
that's my main thing is I was talking to Corey about it last night, right? Of just like, man, God of War's done a great job of really not showing anything. Like we got that first long demo when we were introduced to the kid, and that's kind of what I played at the event with new stuff in the front, new stuff at the back. But I have no idea where that story's going over the next 30 hours, and I don't want to know. Like you've sold me. And same thing with Spider-Man to an extent where, I'm sure we're going to see more villains. I'm sure we're going to see more of New York and more moves, but don't give me too much. Don't tell me everything. I don't want to piece it all together from a trailer. I hope we never see. I mean, there's no answer, right? That I know of, kindafunny.com/you're wrong. If Miles Morales actually gets spider powers in the game, right? Like, I hope I have no idea about that until it shows in the game, yes or no.
Yeah. But yeah, Sony is always kind of in that weird situation where their games get announced kind of too early, but then people want them to announce big things at E3, and so they like have this strange balance to pull off.
Right.
But like you think about this E3, it's going to be last E3 for half of it.
Yeah. More Death Stranding. more Last of Us Part 2. And
Spider-Man, Days Gone.
Yeah. Those are the big questions of like, I think if they weren't delivering games like Horizon and what apparently God of War will be, and Detroit having a release date, there'd be more of a uproar about it. But it is the fact that they're quietly just building out the portfolio to show you why this year is gonna be great and next year will be great, and hopefully, you know what I mean? Of like, and it's the opposite of what Microsoft's where they're at right now.
Crackdown 3, where is it?
Yeah, exactly. Sea of Thieves, like, all right, people are like mad and happy at the same time about it. You can't keep it, thing there. State of Decay 2 gonna be game of the year, of course. We all know. So, but yeah, like, it's a tightrope to walk, but then all it ever comes down to is people on the internet being mad, and luckily the people on the internet are always mad. So I don't think anybody's ever been like, all right, I've heard about this game too long, I don't care anymore about the release date. Or, in Quinn's case, like, I've been promised this release date for too long, I'm done waiting, I just don't care. No, you're going to care. When the release date comes out, we'll all be excited. When they show what better be a goddamn beautiful Spider-Man PlayStation 4 Pro, we'll all care again.
There are games like that, though. Like Spider-Man, I don't think would be that. Like, I think no matter what they show Spider-Man, like, people would probably still be excited. But like Far Cry 5, though, like, I was done with those previews.
Yeah,
I've previewed this enough times.
Now I'm with you on that. When they were like, "Hey, come out to Livermore," I'm like, "No, I'm good." But they're like, "Oh, we'll come here and you can co-op." Great. It's all so much down to us as consumers, right? And like, part of our job obviously is that, but like, no, we've previewed this game. Like, if we do a preview video, we're usually done. We don't need to do another or something like that. But that's also different than the consumer who is just trying to gobble it up and see what's happening. And what is the Game Informer cover, and how do you read through this, and how do you find out what's going on? The game can be overexposed for sure. Yeah. But I don't think, like Spider-Man, that's not what's happening. It's just like people are waiting for that release date and getting mad about it, which I understand. I want it. I wish James Stevenson would stop being James Stevenson about it. Final question of the day comes from Just Sion 59, who says, "Hey, KFGD crew. My question is on Telltale Games and when we will hear from them next. With Batman the Enemy Within wrapping it up, it got me to wondering, when will they start to talk about the release of their next project? We know they're going to do a final Walking Dead season and have plans for Wolf Among Us 2, but with recent workplace changes highlighted in the Verge article from this week and the restructure that happened last year, I wonder when we'll get these games. Thanks, and have a great weekend." Well, you can come to a PAX panel, PAX East, hosted by me, Greg Miller, about the final season of The Walking Dead. I have no idea what we're going to talk about in the panel yet. I know Melissa's on it, the voice of Clem. And if that wasn't announced, I just announced it for you. The fact that they're talking at PAX East about it makes me think you'll have an episode 1 release date sooner rather than later. I think that's definitely what they're on to next, and then they worry about Wolf, and I'm sure they're doing pre-pro on Wolf right now and stuff like that. But I would imagine, if we're talking about it in April, you're playing it. I mean, I don't think it'd be preposterous to say May, the way Telltale usually works, but I could also see June or something like that for the summer. Maybe I'm totally wrong, though, and it'll be October, and they'll try to tie into the spooky Halloweens. But you care about the Walking Dead games?
I think I'm in the same boat as a lot of people, where I really enjoyed the first one, and then for whatever reason, I fell off. I didn't, keep going with them. Yeah. I've played some Telltale series here and there, like Tales from the Borderlands. I picked up. Yeah.
That was great. Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder what it can take for them to reconfigure things to where they get people to believe that, hey, this isn't just following the same formula.
Yeah, and that's my big concern of, I play a lot of the Telltale series, and I'm playing Batman now, and it's good, but it's the same thing. It's similar to Walking Dead, where season 1 of Batman was like, holy shit, you guys are doing so much cool shit with the lore here, right? And like what this is, and changing what we've known about Batman. And then season 2 is like, okay, it's more of that. So I'm like not as excited, like, to jump in, because it's like, okay, the novelty of it is worn off, and it's just a Telltale game. And so it's exciting that I think, hey, this is the final season of The Walking Dead. Like, here's a reason to get you back and invested, and we're going to finally wrap up Clem's story one way or the other. But is it going to still be the same engine and everything else? Because they've said, like when they restructured of like, we're going to start using, I think they said Unity, but we're definitely going to use new technology, and we're going to go off that way. And is that the game that starts with it, or is it going to be Wolf, or is it something else?
Right.
Because when you do,
if they did something radically different, Walking Dead would be a good launching point, because then that would be kind of like it would be something that would attract those Walking Dead fans, and like shows like, oh, this is completely different than what we did before.
It's an easy rebrand too, because season 1 was so successful. Season 1, got everyone involved and interested in every new Lee and Clem. So if you were able to come back and be like, guess what? We're a new Telltale. We have a new engine. We have this. It looks different. It plays different. We're not just using the same formulas we've done before. This is where we're going. That's an awesome PR stroke, and get to explain who your business is and go from there. You could do it again with Wolf. I mean, if it's not ready for the final season of Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us season 2 could be, but because like people love Wolf Among Us, but that is such a smaller group then, right? Like it's harder to make those waves and really express it. Yeah. So it'll be fascinating to see how it all shakes out and what they do, but I don't know, man. I wish them well. Telltale's always been good to us, good folks. I like most of their games. From Jurassic Park, did not care for Wolf Among Us either, but I know I'm an outlier there. But again, the quality and the people who work there have always been great. So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens with them next, especially in light of the Verge article and the restructures. Daniel, it's time to squad up. This is where one of you writes into kindoffunny.com/KFGD. You give me your name, username, platform of choice, and why you need help in a video game. I read it here. The best friends come and find you, and everybody plays video games together. Today, Mike Pedro needs help. Why? Well, he says, here's a submission for Squad Up. I just bought a new gaming PC and have no clue what I'm doing. Looking for a few best friends to play some PC games with me and walk me through the basics. Add me on Steam, Pedro, Pedro 90910. So that the first 0 was a 0 too. I said O, but 90910. Kevin will put it in the thing. Right, Kev? That's my man, Kev. It's a fast one. I feel bad. You came in and it was just like a boring day. The questions were good. We had fun, but
Yeah.
You got anything on your mind? What was the best thing you saw at GDC?
I've seen some cool stuff at GDC. One of the first things that I wanted to see and it intrigued me when I first got the press release was Little Dragon's Cafe.
Okay.
It's from the creator of Harvest Moon.
Oh, okay.
And so basically, it's coming to Switch and PS4, I think. And so basically, you're these kids whose mother got sick.
Okay.
And so you have to run a cafe in her stead. And so you take people's orders and you do the dishes. But then at the same time, this weird old man shows up.
Great, good. And that's what you want around kids.
And he's like, I know what's wrong with your mother. What you need to do to help her out is you need to raise this dragon egg. And the dragon will help your mother in the end. I'm like, oh, okay. And so, so you're not only like finding recipes and things to like please your customers, but you're feeding recipes to this dragon.
Okay.
Who, as it grows, then you can like instruct the dragon to like chop down vegetables or to like hunt animals, and then you can like ride it and fly it to new locations where new ingredients are. So it's this interesting kind of mix of, what you kind of used to with like the daily routine of a Harvest Moon game plus like an outdoor 3D adventure.
That's crazy. That's cool. What is it coming to? Everything or just Steam stuff?
I'm pretty sure PS4 and Switch.
Okay.
I don't think there are any other platforms, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah.
Okay, coal. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, they were demoing on Switch there.
That sounds really fun.
Did you check out What the Golf at all?
Yeah, I saw that at Day of the Devs.
Yeah. So, the Day of the Devs has like a booth there. So I checked that out. Really funny game where
it starts off of like, it's a putting golf thing. And then it turns in you're putting with the car, or there's a super hot level and all these crazy things. It's fun.
Russian subway dogs?
They were supposed to come by yesterday and do a Let's Play, and we had a complete meltdown of technology. Was it good? Because it's coming to Vita, so I was all over.
Yeah, it's fun. It's totally like an arcade game. It's like you go level by level and like... but the idea is that there are these, Russian subway dogs that are known for just riding the subways and getting off at different stops and all that. But in this, it's just a simple little 2D game where you run up behind people on the subway platform and bark to scare the food out of their hands. And like you constantly have like this hunger meter that's going down. And so you have to like keep doing that to survive. But they mix in all these other mechanics, right? So like if you bark behind someone holding vodka, then the vodka will fly out and it will explode. But that explosion will cook food and make it more healthy.
Okay.
Or it will kill other dogs that are competing with you. Or some reason there's bears, and so we'll burn the bears and kill the bears and the elk that are in the subway.
Okay.
And you can actually like juggle the vodka bottles and
that sounds awesome.
There's all these other crazy little weird things. But yeah, just fun little quick arcade game. And then like I said, I got to check out Banner Saga 3.
Yep.
Which just introducing all these new things. This guy was just furiously writing notes, like trying to keep up with
everything that's happening. Yeah,
it's like so like you actually like there's a caravan that goes into the darkness that's been like consuming the world to kind of like get to the source of it, while the other caravan is outside and just trying to survive long enough to outlast the encroaching hordes of the dredge and stuff.
Okay.
And they say that the one that's trying to survive can fail, and you'll be left with the one caravan. That's the only people left alive in the world.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, but the darkness is just like warped everything that's inside of it. So like you just have like all these weird like melted units that come at you, and you have to like defeat units within a certain set number of turns, or another wave will come with like extra mini bosses and stuff like that. So a lot of different extra mechanics.
Yeah, it sounds a lot different than the Banner Saga I remember when I first started playing it. Because I played 1, but I didn't play 2.
Right.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, every time you're watching this show live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, we ask you to keep us honest. Go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screwed up as we were recording, so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com or youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and podcast services around the globe. Now, as usual, Ocarina of Prime wants to get fucked up because they start with not a you're wrong. Then no, that doesn't. You don't need to do this. You don't need to fucking put it in there. And then he brings up Pixel Junk Monster 2, what we mentioned before already. God damn it, dude. Give me a second. BM/fan says Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer was not considered to be the best in the series. It was highly unbalanced and began many perk/kill streak trends, which many Call of Duty fans feel have hurt the series. Well, there you go. Dennis writes in and says, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered was a complete remake of Modern Warfare and not a remaster, unlike what the name says. So Modern Warfare 2 would likely be a complete remake as well, and would then be treated as a new game, and therefore not using the old online architecture.
Sure.
Right,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
The remake versus remaster like really gets in a nitty-gritty depending on who you ask. You know, like the game historians are like, it's not a remaster unless it plays exactly like it did on the original hardware.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Charles J says, James Stevenson from Insomniac said on their live stream the other day, no one at Insomniac has said the first half of 2018, which is true, so it might have been miscommunicated by Sony. Exactly. I remember it was Sean Layden who said everything up there that had 2018 will come in the first half of the year.
Yeah, I mean, that's what execs do, right? Like, didn't Nintendo announce Smash Brothers before the developer knew about it?
No. Who would do that? No, probably, yeah. No,
like, Brawl, I think, was the one, yeah.
Yeah. I want to see if this is spoilery. This isn't even clarification, really. Dory Foro says, according to creative director Brian over at Insomniac, Miles Morales' role in Sony's Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game grew over the development process. Originally, Miles' role was minimal until Brian went and read up on the character's history. From there, the relationship between him and Peter was too good of an opportunity to pass up. That we were not wrong about knowing if he turns into Spider-Man, nor was that all that helpful. So you, sir, you're wrong too, and you can go to hell. Just kidding. Don't go to hell. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. Remember, each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, head on over to twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, or podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get the show, thank you for your support and love. We couldn't do it without you. Mr. Bloodworth, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, man.
We've never actually hung out and done stuff together.
Right.
It's cool to do stuff together. We should do more stuff together.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like, people don't seem to understand, like, with us being in LA, like I see guys like you at events for like 5 minutes.
I want to say, like, last GDC, I think it was our longest conversation outside of the Xbox thing where we were just bullshitting around waiting for them to let us in. You're a good man, though. I like you. All right?
Thanks.
Don't let Brandon put you down anymore. He talks a lot of shit about you when he's up here. You know what I mean? Just smack him in the face when you get down there. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim will be your host on Monday with me. But until then, no. It's been our pleasure to serve you.